Welcome to Monday Tsene with Pretoria Psychologists. As you know, it's September and we are discussing all things new. And in our discussing all things new, actually to help us is a concept in psychology called resilience. Resilience is an ability to bounce back after an adverse occurrence or occasion or even an experience. It can be that you have experienced that for a long time and so on, but resilience is something that separates people from how they are going to cope better or worse with that adverse experience. So when we look at it, resilience can be influenced by a number of factors. Firstly, it's genetics, but then scientifically it has been shown in many research projects that genetics play a minute role in how resilient people are. The second one will be a personality. Our personality differences also, they make us to be either more resilient or less resilient, or to even lack resilience. I will give an example with introverted and extroverted personalities, and I'm not saying that there is anything wrong with being an introvert or an extrovert. I'm just highlighting the differences in personality that helps us to be able to harness more on our ability to be resilient in situations. So an introvert, as you know, is somebody who recharges energy from the inside by being by themselves, by withdrawing and so on. So if we look at a month ago or 5 months ago, where Corona has beat us into being in our own shells, being isolated and so on, and now we're talking about an introvert who naturally will go into that space. I myself am an introvert and I recharge my energy for being in my own space. But then that person is unable to reach out for help, to be able to then get into their toolbox ways in which they can cope with their situation a little bit better, which then an experience for an extroverted person who is more confident in engaging in social interactions will be able to reach out for help in that way. And I'm not saying that this is a black and white thing. It also depends. Another third thing that influences how resilient we are is looking at our own upbringing. It has been shown in many studies that our upbringing set us up for being resilient or not. It says that the first 20 years of our lives are very crucial. In childhood development, we demonstrate that the first 1,000 days of a child are very crucial. So meaning that what is fed to somebody as they grow up, as they go on in life, be it that what they are fed is being told that they amount to nothing, that they are useless, that they are worthless, or be it that it is a supportive and a conducive environment where if they are in an adverse situation as a child, they are encouraged, they are given support, they are given what they need to be able to bounce back in life. So these three things, as I said, genetics as well as personality and our upbringing, they are an influencer in how resilient we are going to be. Now I want us to look at something that is very key to building resilience. So some of the key toolbox that you can take, in your toolbox that you can take to be able to encourage and be able to build resilience in your life. Number one, I want to talk about an outlook. I like making an example of a cloudy day. In a cloudy day, for an outlook of somebody who's under the clouds, it is gray, it looks gloomy, it's not as exciting and as this beautiful spring day that I am in, that I'm talking to you. But then for somebody who's on an airplane, who's above the cloud, the sun is brightly shining. So an outlook is very important in how resilient a person is going to be. So if we were looking at the past 5 months as something that is dire, as something that is, the end of it, you have heard my colleagues colleague Sharon talking about how, you know, if a person was looking in preparing themselves to be outside the situation, they are much better off than somebody who was stuck in that situation. So for a person who's under the clouds on a cloudy day will be looking at life differently from somebody who is above the clouds where there is a sunshiny day on a very exact day. So our outlook is very much important in how we become resilient. The second one is our own spiritual life. When we have a spiritual life that says to us there is a being that is higher than us, where we can surrender. You remember when I was talking to teachers about 2 months ago, I said there are things that we have control over and there are things that we do not have control over. So when you are somebody who believes in a higher power or in God, you know you can be able to surrender those things, which then means that you don't have control over them, and it makes it easy for you to cope in life, to be able to go on in life. The third one that I want to talk about is reaching out to other people. I usually say, I used to teach a class in social psychology in the honors at the university that I'm at on altruism. So it's, you know, so things like being motivated to help others. And I say, does true altruism, you know, exist? Well, that is a debate for another day when we have time on talking about that. But I think that when we help others, we are actually helping ourselves. I found that with myself, when I'm reaching out to others, when I'm doing something for somebody who's unable to pay me for my services, who is unable to compensate me for whatever I am giving them, it actually makes me to be more at peace. It makes me to feel good about myself. It actually encourages my own self-worth. And then the other one that I want to talk about is purpose. Purpose is very key in us being resilient, because if you've got that dream that drives you, if you know the reason why you are here, you have the why of why you are in existence. You are not here just to be sucking up the air and finishing off the oxygen, but there is a higher calling, there is a higher purpose in which you are put here on earth, which then means that in times of adversities, in times of very difficult situations and challenges, you look at that purpose to say, why are you here? Which then is going to be able to drive you further on. The last one that I want to talk about as the last tool in your toolbox is support system. I cannot emphasize that enough. I've talked about the fact that studies have shown that the first 20 years in your life are very much important. And why is that? We look at who surrounded you. What did they surround you with? What did they tell you? So which then means that even if you did not have a good support system growing up, right now you can make a decision to surround yourself with good support system. I remember just about a few weeks, I was speaking to a very good supportive system of mine, which is my sisters, and I was saying, you know what, you can judge me if you want to, but this is how I am feeling. And one of them actually said, you know what, we understand you. And I was so appreciative that I was not judged in that particular environment. I felt that my emotions were being validated. And these are the contexts that I'm talking about. In a place where you feel that you are validated, in a place where you feel you are not judged, in a place that you feel you will be supported no matter what, no matter how crazy your ideas are, no matter how out of way you feel, no matter how shameful, how guilty you feel about whatever circumstance. So with that, this is Monday Tsene with Pretoria Psychologists to carry you through the month as we say all things new in this September. Goodbye until next time.